Hello everybody, it's Yasir back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about how you can raise your prices for your coaching business. Yes, I know a lot of people struggle with this, especially when they start. They're not sure how to price their services, let alone how to raise their prices. A lot of them are scared. A lot of them don't know how to do it. They think they can price themselves based on what someone else is doing, and they think someone else has been in the market for a longer time, so they can't do it. So today I'm going to give you a few reasons why people don't raise their prices and how you can raise your prices right now. I'm going to help you make some money, and if you do make money, you owe me a coffee, okay? If you want more step-by-step instructions on how to get your business off the ground, please feel free to go to the description, book a call with me. Would love to get on a call, find out what's going on with your business, help you find more leads and get more revenue in your coaching business. So let's get started right away. Let's talk about the pricing bit, right? Now, this is a question that came to me from every single client that I've ever worked with. I want to share a screenshot of one of the clients I was working with right here. So this client was a graphic designer. They had their own design course. They wanted to help people find clients in design, raise their prices in design, get jobs in design. And this person had worked in the industry for many years and has worked for some of the biggest companies in design altogether, right? So everything you want in credentials this person had. But when they were building their own coaching practice, for some reason they just could not raise their prices. They kept telling me, no one's going to pay me more than this amount. No one's going to be paying me more than I think it was $8.99 or something like that. I forgot. No one's going to pay me more than this amount. And the reason they were saying that was because in their experience, they had never had anyone pay them a certain amount. All right, they never had the experience of someone paying them $2,400. So this is what they charge now. When they work with me, I showed them how to up their prices considerably from like 800, 900 all the way to 2,400, right? That's more than 2x what their initial price was. So this took a long time, and it took a lot of things. We had to help them unlearn a lot of things because they felt they had a lot of assumptions they were making, and I'm going to touch on them in just a bit. But what was really important to note is some people think when they get certain credentials, then they can charge more money. I have worked with so many people who have thousands of followers, they're influencers, thousands of subscribers, all the credentials, all the certifications in the world, and they still won't raise their prices. Why? Because there's some sort of a mindset block that I want to talk about today, okay? So let's just jump straight to my little visualizer here. I love explaining things with this. The first reason why people don't raise their prices is a sense of scarcity, okay? Now, when I talk about scarcity, I mean they think this is the only client, okay? What do I mean by this? Because there's a shortage of clients out there, there's a shortage of leads, there's not too many other people you're talking to. Everybody who comes through the door, you feel like you absolutely have to sell to because you have no other options. It's either that or nothing. So when you get on a call, you're like, I don't want to lose this person. I want to make sure that I can sell them because they're the only one I have. No one else is talking to me. I need their business. And then people become very desperate. They lower their rates. They get crappier clients. They're not happy because they're not getting paid as much they want to get paid. The client isn't getting amazing results because they're not as committed. All sorts of different things happen. So if you're feeling the sense of I can't charge more because I'm too afraid of losing the client, first of all, I want to help you understand you can't lose something you don't have. You already don't have the client. The worst thing that can happen is you'll just continue in that situation. You're living through that now. You'll continue to live through that in the future as well. So you can't lose anything. You haven't lost anything that you don't have. The other thing I want you to note is maybe this is not a sales problem. Maybe this is more of a pipeline problem. So it's not so much an issue with your ability to sell, where that might be a factor, but it might stem from the fact that you have a very dry pipeline. What does that mean? Essentially, it means you have nobody in your funnel. You have nobody to talk to. You have no prospects, right? So we have conversion that we track with my clients. So for example, if we reached out to 30 people, out of those 30 people, maybe 15 of them might be interested. Out of those 15, maybe 10 will get on a call with you. Out of those 10, maybe 5 will book a sales call. Out of those 5, maybe 2 will buy. right? That's kind of what it looks like. But imagine this, you only have 2 people you've talked to, 2 people you've told about your service. Your pipeline is completely dry. There's nobody you've talked to. You don't know anyone. So it's either sell this person now, do everything in your power to sell them, or you're not going to get paid. So scarcity is a huge issue, and the reason there's scarcity is because you have an issue with your pipeline. Okay, so in order to fix the scarcity issue, don't worry too much about price. Price not the problem. The problem is not having enough people to talk to. Imagine this. You have all the people you could ever talk to, all the clients in the world. Everyone's booking calls with you. You're doing amazingly well. Would you be scared of raising your price then? Probably not, right? Because if you raise your price and they say no, great, on to the next one. But the reason you feel desperation, the reason you feel like you can't raise your price is because you don't have anyone else. So what you need to do is add more people to your pipeline. Add more people in there, just like I told my client here to do. When you have an abundance of clients, you have no shortage of people to talk to, you're not so desperate to not raise your price. You're not lowering your price every now and then, okay? The other thing is people make assumptions. So they'll make assumptions on the client's financial situation, the client's buying behavior, or the client's needs. Okay, so they'll say, well, no one's going to pay this much, or no one needs this bad, or this client probably doesn't have money. They'll make all these assumptions about things, right? And we do this to justify why they didn't buy, right? Most of the time they don't buy because we didn't either do a good enough job of qualifying them or showing them the value of our service. But to make ourselves feel better, we say, yeah, you know what, they probably didn't have the need, or they probably weren't ready for it, whatever. But it's actually an innate, it's something that we haven't done to demonstrate our value in a lot of cases. So instead of making these assumptions, what we need to do instead is really diagnose extremely to the core of what the challenges are. If there are no challenges, you can't sell someone something. You can't sell someone medication if they're not suffering with a disease, right? You can't do that. What for, right? What's the point? So when I'm working with my coaches, one thing I teach them is think of yourself like a doctor who is diagnosing the client, and one of the options that they can consider is a very expensive surgery, but they're only going to take up that surgery if it's absolutely required. So it's your job as a coach to convince them out of it, make sure they don't need it, they can consider all possible alternatives. If everything else has been considered, nothing else seems to be working out for them, then okay, we can do this procedure. Same thing with their coaching program. Listen, a lot of these coaching programs tend to be really expensive. Do we really need to spend $2,000? Do we really need to spend $3,000, $4,000? How big is your problem, right? This is very counterintuitive because a lot of people are like, well, if I don't sell and I don't pitch and I don't tell people about my program, how are they going to buy? Well, the reason they're going to buy is because you're the only one not trying to sell something. You're building trust because you're honest. You're diagnosing their problem. You're telling them, listen, your problem isn't big enough. I'm not seeing why you need to work with me, right? That builds trust with people. So don't have these assumptions about what people can afford, how much they need something. If you're a fitness coach, right? Suppose you help people lose weight. You might think that your coaching service is worth $200 an hour, right? But if you coach someone over 5 sessions and they can lose like 50 pounds off of that, that transformation of losing 50 pounds is worth a lot more to your client than $200 an hour. So I need you to see that. I don't need you to assume the value of the transformation to your client. I need you to hear it from them. And there's a very specific way I teach my clients how to do that. We demonstrate that in complete detail. We also talk about it in my free Facebook group. You can check that on the description. We go through weekly live sessions on topics that you choose. So if there's any question you have, I'll be more than happy to talk about that as well, okay? So don't make assumptions. If you have a scarcity mindset, you feel like you're desperate to sell people, the problem is the pipeline. Get more people in the pipeline. The next thing is imposter syndrome. So this is usually when you're starting out a business, you're a new business owner, or you're just not sure of what you offer. Maybe you work with people for free in the past and they haven't gotten amazing results. Maybe you work with people on a very cheap basis, they haven't gotten amazing results. And by the way, they're correlated. When people don't pay, they don't take action. They don't take action, you feel like you're a crappy coach, right? Which is why you should always be charging for your service. You will just get your clients better results, you will get better results, and then you will raise your prices. And then they'll look at the competition. So they'll say, well, I'm just starting out, this other person is charging this much money, that much money, I can't charge this much, I'm not worth charging this much. So instead what we do is we start lowering our prices because we want to be competitive. But if someone is buying coaching, they're buying coaching to solve a very specific problem, whether it's a career problem, a anxiety problem, a life situation problem, relationship problem. They're not going to cheap out on that. They want to find the right solution. They'll pay more to find the right solution, right? In a lot of cases, that's what they'll do. So in order for you to come across as a premium option, as a high value option, you cannot be discounting yourself. You want to make sure that, hey, this person is worth paying the extra amount for. That's what I teach my clients to do. Do not discount yourself. Be the premium option. The last thing is just a fear of asking or a fear of rejection. So, hey, I'll put my price out there. They'll say no. They say no, they say no. That's okay. That's fine. You have to be okay with this. But the problem is so many people are scared of asking for money, scared of raising their rates because they reject themselves before the client does. I've had so many clients who come to me. He's like, I cannot raise my rates. I can't do this. I remember one specific public speaking client that I had. She had a $500 course, right? And she's like, I cannot charge any more than that. I said, tomorrow you're going to go on the call and you're going to say $1,000 for your course. You're just going to say it. Came back and she made the sale. The person did not even blink. So it's a bigger problem in your head compared to your client's head. It's not as big of a problem in their head, okay? So I need you to consider, don't be scared of the number yourself. The first sale that you will always make will be to yourself. If you can't sell yourself, you cannot sell to your clients, okay? So make sure you sell it to yourself first. Sell to yourself. The other thing is just a lack of sales training, okay? Most people, especially most coaches that I work with, they're working a full-time job. They work as a career advisor at a university, or maybe they're doing life coaching. They're not salespeople. They don't know how to sell. And even when they think about the word sell, it's disgusting for them. It was for me too. I never liked the idea of sales until I discovered the consultative sales method, where you're not pitching to people. You're not ramming your product down the throat. In fact, you're doing quite the opposite. You're convincing them out of it. Hey, listen, I don't think you need this. Do you really need this? Why don't we just continue doing what you're doing now? Everything seems to be going fine. Do you really want to pay me thousands of dollars? Is this worth that? When you try to make sure the service you provide is going to be valuable for your client and then they buy in, they're so much more committed, they trust you so much more, and the results you get are so much better. So the way I teach my clients to sell has nothing to do with a sales pitch. There is no script. Ask any of my clients. We do not use a script. There are no questions that you have to ask. Maybe there's a structure, but that's about it. All I teach people to do is how to remain present in the conversation. Really turn the laptop, stop scrolling on LinkedIn and your notes and all that stuff. Just tune out all that stuff, listen to what they're saying, ask questions, and really go deep into what the problem is. If there's a big enough problem and you've outlined it for them, you've helped them think, they'll think the solution is right there in front of them. If you can make the client feel understood, they will trust that you have the solution. All right, so these are some of the reasons that people are scared of raising their prices. A very good exercise that I do with my clients, I actually call it the $500 challenge, but for you I'll do $200 because I haven't taught you the sales process. It's a very specific sales process we do. What is the $500 challenge? It's the easiest thing in the world. You go on the next sales call and you just increase your rates by $500. No reason, no justification, nothing. Slap a $500 tag on it and that's it. I have done this exercise time and time again, and I'll show you that example again if I can find it. Is always the same. I'll give you another example. So this is another client of mine who came to me, and she was working with a lot of clients in South America, and she said, I don't think I can charge this much. I don't think I can pay, my clients will pay this much. They'll only pay $200, $300. I said, no, they will pay a much higher fee for this. And there you go. Within the first 6 weeks of joining the program, she made $12,000. All right, this is the power of just changing your mindset about prices. So what I'm trying to say here, let me just get rid of this little thing here. What I'm trying to say, get on your next sales calls. If you don't want to do 500, do 200. At the very least, you will make $200 more. Why? $200 to $500, it's not a big enough leap for you to be overly concerned about. It doesn't give you a heart attack increasing your prices by 500. At the same time, your clients won't hesitate as much. You'll notice the clients who will pay you $2,000 will also pay you $2,500, right? It's not that far out of that ballpark. The clients who will pay you $2,500, they'll also pay you $2,900. It's not that far off the ballpark. Think about that, okay? Really, really think about that. All I want you to do is exercise that, raise your prices unapologetically. If you need more help, please feel free to book a time with me. I'd love to talk you into upping your prices and helping you do that. I hope you found this valuable. If you did, really appreciate it if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one. Take care.